Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Villalobos. I'm WiCyS Community Manager, and I would like to welcome you to this WiCyS webinar with Kim from SANS. But before we start, I'd like to introduce you a little bit more about the WiCyS organization. We often go by our acronyms WiCyS, as in We Sisters, because that's exactly what we are, a global cyber sisterhood. We're a 501c3 with over 8.1 members in 70 countries. WiCyS is a premier organization with global reach dedicated to bringing together women in cyber. Our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cyber. All of our programs and initiatives are made possible by our supporting strategic partners. We have our professional affiliates, student chapters, equity advocacy committee, mentor mentee programs, speaker bureau, job board plus, and so much more. You can view our trainings and programs and initiatives on our website at WiCyS.org to learn more about different ways to get involved with the WiCyS organizations. All of our wonderful initiatives for our strategic partners are tier one chapters partners that are Akamai, Amazon, Battelle, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon University, Cisco, Fortinet, Google, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, Sandia National, and Sentinel One. A friendly reminder to ask questions throughout the webinar. You can put them in the chat and the presenter will answer them at the end. We have our experts here today and they look forward from hearing from you. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the WiCyS newsletter at WiCyS.org to stay up to date on any upcoming WiCyS events and trainings. And with us today, we have Kim from SANS on the topic of upgrading your cyber skill with graduate education. Kim, I'll have you take it over.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for having me today. Hello, everybody. As we said, my name is Kim. I'm from SANS Technology Institute. I can actually put my screen up to show you exactly who I am. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions Outreach. So this is my team also on the screen: Holly, Sarah, Morgan, and Lindsay. I mention them so that any of you know today that if you like what you hear in the presentation and you want more information or to talk to someone live, you can speak with any of us, including myself. And I have put my email up on the screen so that you have access to that as well. In addition, Laura will share with you my contact information at the end of today's presentation. So I wanted to begin by just going over today's agenda. This is going to be geared towards graduate education. So it is typically for those of you that are already in the field that want to strengthen and better your cyber skills, your information security skill set. We're going to do an overview of who we are and what we do. I'm going to talk about how our programs are designed and structured, talk about how we take courses and classes at SANS Technology Institute, tuition and funding information, and of course, the admissions process. At the end, as Laura also mentioned, there will be a live Q&A. So as we go, if you do have questions, please put your questions in the question box of this chat today, and I will be answering them live in real time. You can also, as I said, reach out after the presentation and we can speak about things more one-on-one. I'd like to start every presentation by explaining just a high-level overview of who we are and what we do. So we have a couple different nuances to the SANS family. The first is the SANS Institute, and this is what many of you may be familiar with. It is a training facility. Anyone from anywhere can sign up and take a course, pay for a course, get that class. If you'd like, after that, you can then go on and receive the GX certification, and it's kind of a one and done. You can come back time and time again for as many classes as you'd like. So that's the SANS Institute, and they have trained over 100,000 certifications to date in 30 different practice areas, and they are just an unbelievable organization, as you can imagine. So affiliated with SANS is our world-class faculty. Our faculty average 15 years of real-world work experience, in addition to needing 10 years of teaching experience to become a SANS instructor. It's a very rigorous process to be hired by SANS, and only about 1 in 1,200 make that cut. So when you are coming into SANS for this training, you are learning from the best. And my favorite thing about it is not theoretical. That's why our faculty must work in the field. These are real workers who are on the cutting edge of technology on a daily basis, and then teaching you as well, kind of on the side. We are very community focused. So SANS has a lot of free publications, including the SANS Reading Room, security policy templates that we have designed and implemented. There is our Internet Storm Center, which is an emerging warning systems for threats that are happening, again, in real time every day. And we also have a tremendous amount of free resources on the SANS.org website, tutorials, webinars, podcasts. There's an endless stream of knowledge if you're looking to kind of dive in a little bit deeper into cyber and see what SANS has to offer. GX certifications are an important part of what we do. Every course that you take at SANS that has a GX really results in that gold standard testing. So these GX represent what you have learned while you're in the classroom. They are the gold standard in the industry. And when you have the GX, you prove a mastery of that specific subject, course, etc. So it's a very coveted cert to obtain. They are the gold standard in the industry. Hiring managers know to look for them, and they really bring your resume, bring your job to the next level, to the top of the pile, whatever you might be seeking to do. And then with all of that said, we have SANS.edu. So that's how we differentiate the two SANS organizations. SANS.org is our parent company. And again, everything I just mentioned about a training facility. SANS.edu is an independent subsidiary of SANS.org. Our courses are based on and around the SANS training, but the difference is we are fully accredited. So we have the same accreditation as Columbia, Cornell, Carnegie Mellon, Johns Hopkins, just to name a few. We are independent of the SANS.org system because we serve as a higher education institution. So that's what makes us really different. In addition to that, we function a bit differently. So we function as a higher education institution. All of our students need to go through an application process. You need to get accepted. We have different criteria for our different programs. Once you're admitted into the college or the graduate school, you get an academic advisor. This person stays with you from day one all the way through your time in the program. So there's a little bit more support and a little bit of a difference between coming in and just doing one course or coming into a program, as I will dive into further now with SANS.edu. Forgive me. I am trying to get to the next screen here. So with that said, that's not working either. Hang on. Sorry, guys. With that said, I want to take you to the next slide. The mission. The mission of the college has always been the same as the mission of SANS.org. We are developing cybersecurity professionals with in-demand skills. So today's presentation, again, we're focusing on those of you that are in the industry that might want to get to the next level or maybe jump to the next 5 levels. This is the place to do it. We are giving that kind of training to either teach people into cyber or develop cyber professionals from where you already stand. What makes us different is that, number one, we have so many students from 5 years ago, we were a much smaller school. And even from when this slide was created, I forgot to update our student body, but I believe we just sat another 200 students and we're upwards of 1,700. We just had a deadline that passed 3 days ago with a new class coming into the school. So we are one of the largest cybersecurity programs in the US, and we focus only on cybersecurity. I'm going to show you that we have some undergraduate options as well. The entire college, whether you're undergraduate or graduate, is only cybersecurity and information security technologies. That's it. There's nothing else that we do. Because we're SANS.edu, we have very aggressive academic pricing. So that's what makes us a little bit different from SANS.org as well. You'll notice that most of our courses are about half price when you come into the college, either at the undergraduate or graduate level. I already spoke to you about our faculty, and it really is what makes us different than most programs out there that offer cybersecurity training. Again, I spoke to you about GX, but that makes us special. These GX certifications are the gold standard in the industry, and they are what employers are looking for promotions, for job security, for growth. The flexibility of our coursework is what also makes us very unique as a higher education institution. Typically, when you think about school or graduate school, you think full-time student. Every one of our graduate students must be working full-time in a professional role in the security community. So we know that we are working with a student body of working professionals. We need to offer ultimate flexibility to make this possible to do your job 40 hours a week and be a graduate student. And we do that very well. And I'll dive into that a little bit more as we go. We have different options for course delivery to maximize that flexibility. You can take courses live in person, live online, or completely virtual on demand for an entire program. And then we have different funding options. There's a variety of different options that we can dive into at the end. One of the most popular, I should say, is the tuition assistance program. Because we are an accredited institution, we qualify for most funding programs from your employer. The experience is very different at SANS.edu from a more traditional college or even graduate school. You likely think of academic institutions who work on a semester basis. That is not how we do it. We have individual and flexible academic plans. I just mentioned to you 5 seconds ago that we just sat a new class about 3 days ago on July 15th. Every one of those students will have a different trajectory as they're in the program. Some might go really fast track through the curriculum and get it done in a year or so. Some might take 3 years. It really depends on the student. So it's very flexible for you, the student, coming into the program to tell us what you need and how you need to take a course. The admissions windows in more traditional institutions are typically in the fall or maybe a spring semester, twice a year. We work on a rolling admissions basis. So all of our certificate programs have acceptances on the 15th of every month. And our master's degree programs are, and our master's degree only, are quarterly. So there are 4 different deadlines per year that we accept a master's class. I will also review those at the end. A lot of times you will be seeing that institutions will allow you to take 3 or 4 courses in a semester at the same time. We do not. Because you are a working professional, you take 1 course at a time. You have 90 days to complete each course. You can finish a course much faster if you're capable and you have the time to dedicate, but you don't have to. And we only allow you to take the courses 1 at a time so you can focus, concentrate, get in, get out of that course, and then when you're ready, start the next one. And then a lot of academic institutions are more faculty-centric, but we are advisor-centric. So you will get an advisor at the beginning of your program, and that person will stay with you from day 1 all the way to graduation, offering you academic support as well as just emotional support and help organize you and keep you on track in the program. Here is a list of everything that's offered at the college. And I like to put it up here just in case some of you today may be in a position where at the end of this you say, the graduate school might not be right fit, but there is a place for you at SANS if you want it. So I'll start with the right hand of your screen. We have a bachelor's degree in applied cybersecurity and an undergraduate certificate program in applied cybersecurity. Very quickly, the certificate program is for people career transitioning. A lot of times I'll speak with students who are cyber adjacent. Maybe they work as electrical engineers. Maybe they're on the software development side, but they have sort of an understanding of cyber and really want to roll up their sleeves and dive in. This is the perfect program for them to launch a new cyber career. It's also a great program for a bachelor's degree. If people have been homegrown in the industry, but don't yet possess that actual degree in cyber, they might want to come here and finish that up. So we do have undergraduate options. But again, today's focus is more on the graduate level. We have a Master's of Science in Information Security Engineering, and we also have 8 graduate certificate programs: Cloud Security, Cybersecurity Engineering, which is our core program, Cybersecurity Management, Cyber Defense Operations, Incident Response, Industrial Control System Security, pen testing and ethical hacking, and purple team operations. The graduate certificates are shorter, more technically focused progressions of coursework. So what you'll see as we dive in today, the master's degree is our largest, most robust program, and you'll be diversifying along the way throughout that program. The graduate certificates, you kind of pick a lane and you stay in it and you get certifications special to that lane. Online, live online, and live in person. These are the ways that you can take a course at SANS. The live online option is a 1-week immersive learning experience, much like we are today, although I can't see you guys, but you can see me. Your instructor is live. You would also be live. You would see your other classmates, and it's a more give and take kind of conversational setting type of virtual experience. It is 1 week of immersive learning. You are getting all of your course content in about 40 to 46 hours in that 1 week. You still have the rest of the time in that program. So the rest of those 3 months to study, create an index, do what you need to do if it's labs or assignments, and then finish the course. But that immersive learning takes place in 1 week. Same goes for the live in person. Difference is you are actually on site at a venue, but you're getting that immersive learning experience, much like I just described in the live online. And then you have the option of doing a course or all of your courses completely virtual. These on-demand courses are recorded lectures. So you will be having the same instructors, but they're just pre-recorded. You can watch them anytime you want. You can start to do your schedule in a way that works well for you. Maybe you want to watch a couple hours a night. Maybe you save it all for the weekend. However you want to do it, you can do it on demand at your own pace. Every course in the programs consists of the class and the GX certification. So if any of you have ever taken a course at SANS.org, you would know you take the class and then you get the choice of pursuing that GX cert as kind of proof of your mastery of the material. At the graduate school and the college, that GX certification is your final exam. You cannot pass the course unless you pass the GX. The good news of this is as you go through any of your programs, you are gaining these GX one after another as you progress through your coursework. Here's a snapshot of the master's degree program. It's a 36 credit program. It's 3.5 to 5 years. That is the timetable that we are estimating it would take someone in this program. And again, remember, you are a full-time working professional, so we are giving you a lot of leeway in terms of flexibility. We have had students that finish this in 2 years, but it's a pretty aggressive pace at that point. The program is $54,000. It's available 100% online, but it also has the other modalities I mentioned, live online or live in person. You'll look and see on your screen, we have blocks, block 1, 2, 3, and 4. These blocks are natural progressions of coursework, and we do want you to take them as prescribed. Block 1 starts you off with some foundational work, GSEC, GCIH, GSTRT. In block 2, you build on those courses. You get a hands-on group project. You'll get the GDSA, the SSAP, the GCIA, and then a core comprehensive exam, which basically makes sure that you've mastered block 1 and block 2. Because in block 3, you're moving into much more difficult coursework. And block 1 and block 2 really set you up to be able to handle that. You'll take your last management course, the GCPM, and then you get to choose 3 electives of your own. I'll show you the elective tracks on the next slide, but students can choose 1 track and specialize, or you can choose multiple courses and diversify your experience. That's up to you. And then block 4 really serves as a year of culminating practicums. So this is where you will hone your skills. You will do a research project of your own design. That's your white paper. You'll work with a writing instructor, and there's also a hands-on group project to finish up the coursework. These are the technical electives and focus areas that I mentioned. Again, you'll recognize these from the graduate certificate programs: cloud, defense, IR, ICCS, pen testing, security management. You can choose a track, or as I mentioned, you can pick one course from 3 different tracks if that's more interesting to you. Now, if you feel that graduate program, the master's degree, seemed a little bit daunting, a lot of time, big expense, too many credits, whatever the case may be, that's where the graduate certificate programs are key. These are 12 to 15 credits versus, if you remember, the 36 credit master's degree. These take 18 to 24 months. Again, it depends on the student. It depends on how much time you can dedicate to the coursework, but they are definitely quicker programs, and they're anywhere from $22,000 to $27,000. I did that again, guys. Sorry about that. Honing out. My mouse is very sensitive here. For the graduate certificate programs, this is a typical setup. I just chose incident response to highlight the way that we work, but you'll see this is 4 courses. You earn 4 GX certifications. It's a 12 credit program. You can take 18 to 24 months. It really depends on, again, you and your schedule. $22,800 is the price of this particular course. And you'll notice you take GCFE, GCFA, GNFA, and then you choose one elective from the choices below. So this will really, again, get you specialized in incident response. And this is the way we set up all of our graduate certificates to kind of mirror and put you on a pathway to success in your chosen area. I'd like to mention the student resources available at SANS.edu. I spent a lot of time in the beginning drawing the differences between SANS.org and SANS.edu, the graduate school. The student resource helps to highlight what's available to you as a student here. You will have access to an academic advisor. So that's number one, right off the bat, one of the biggest things. You will have an advocate working with you, for you, throughout your whole program. We use a channel in Slack for students and faculty. This is a way for students to connect, meet and greet, and help each other in different courses. This is a way for faculty to say, come to my virtual office hours, come meet me, ask me questions. You will be working in this Slack channel all the time for constant communication. We never want our students to feel as though they're isolated in a virtual world of learning where they can never talk to a human or get any outside help or connection. GIAC practice tests are part of every course. You get 2 practice exams prior to taking the actual GIAC. Writing tutors are available for you, especially this relates to the master's degree program when you're working on that final year. You will have faculty research advisors. There's academic support for every single class you take. This is in the form of a SME, a subject matter expert, and you have access to these guys pretty much 24 hours a day when you need them. You can also take part in National Cyber League competitions and have access to a lot of fun things that we do kind of behind the scenes with SANS.edu and .org. In addition to that, as an alumni, you then are eligible for continuing education resources. We allow our alumni to take up to 1 course per year at the college at the rate that you paid for in your program. So pretty exciting because you're getting these at half price even after you've graduated from your program. You will also be able to have access to networking events, professional development opportunities, speaking events at SANS. There's just a lot of things that we want our alumni to be involved in, and our alumni program is growing by the day. We have a waiver policy that's part of this program. If you have taken courses before at SANS.org, you can waive in 25% of outside coursework completed outside of the college. For a graduate certificate program, that 25% equals 1 SANS course with the cert. The cert must be a passing cert, of course, and it must be in good standing, so it cannot be expired. If you have that, we will waive in that course, and now you've taken a 4-course certificate program and made it 3. For the master's degree, that 25% is equal to 3 SANS courses and their GX certifications. And that's 9 credit hours. So essentially, if you have outside coursework, you can come into the master's program already 1 year in. We also have waivers that we will grant for the PMP and the CISSP. These have a few nuances to them. So if you have these and you'd like to understand them better, please get in touch and we will go over that with you. I promised to talk about some funding options. So I mentioned in the beginning, employer tuition assistance, very popular. Because we are accredited, we're able to honor that type of program within companies. In addition to that, we have VA education benefits. So we are able to use the GI Bill and sometimes a voc rehab program to help fund our graduate school programs. We also have a tuition payment program. So this is pretty neat. If you don't have any of the available options, TA, VA benefits, and vouchers, which we can discuss as well, you can simply take the amount of your program, divide it into equal payments of $850 a month, and you pay that $850 until the program is paid in full. There are no fees, there is no interest, there's no catch. It is just the cost of your program chopped up into more manageable pieces that you can pay as you go. This then allows you to take your coursework at whatever pace you're comfortable with. You may graduate from the program and still be paying the program off, but again, it will never incur any fees or interest. And then the SANS voucher program will use and honor any universal vouchers from employers. So if you work for a company that you know has access to SANS vouchers, let's decide if they're universal, and if they are, they can be used at the college for tuition payments. Now on to the admissions. So we've given you an overview of the school, who we are, what we do, how we do it. I want to talk about how you get in. You need to have a minimum of 12 months working experience in information technology or information security. This is something that's very important for the graduate school only. Now, if you find yourself in today's presentation and you don't fall into that category, then the undergraduate programs might be the perfect place for you. So again, we do have a spot for everyone who's interested in growing a cyber career. But 12 months minimum is for graduate admissions. You also must have an undergraduate degree conferred. No exceptions. You need to have that bachelor's degree conferred. We're looking for someone who has about a 2.8 or higher. And we're also looking for people who are currently working in the field. Much like I told you that our faculty need to be working professionals so that they're constantly on the cutting edge, applying what they learn in the office to the classroom, same goes for our students. The SANS promise has always been that you can take what you learn in the classroom and apply it the next day in the office. That is so important for growth and development and even understanding. We really want students working in the field to be able to do this as they go. The deadlines, as I mentioned, graduate certificate students are monthly. It's the 15th of every month. And the master's applications are quarterly. It's a May 1st, August 1st, November 1st, and February 1st deadline for graduate admissions. Now I wanted to open it up to any questions that people might have regarding our programs. And I'm happy to go into the chat and take a look. So someone asked, if you work for a micro business based outside of the US and can't afford the fees, are there any payment or scholarships options? That's a great question. And the answer, unfortunately, is we do not offer any funding for international students at the moment. Depending on where you're from, I know some of my international students work with their own government and they might have different programs available to them. We will work with any program that a student has access to. For instance, Canada has some special programs we work with, and I do have students that got scholarships through their country, and they will pay us direct on the student's behalf. That's all possible, but we don't have any connections to that specifically. So sorry about that. All right, any other questions? It's a quiet chat today. I'm trying to think of some of my typical questions. A lot of times students will ask, in the master's degree program, how many courses do I need to take per year? So The answer to that, if you're thinking about the master's degree, is you need 8 credit hours per year, which is typically about 3 courses a year to keep you in good standing. We want our students in the master's degree program moving on at a decent pace so that they're not taking 7 years to graduate. It's already a little bit daunting to be 3.5 to 5 years. That 8 credits per year will keep you at a decent pace. So, something to keep in mind there. That's why the graduate certificate programs are much better in terms of flexibility. You could take 2 courses a year, 1 class every 6 months, not a big ask, and be done with the graduate certificate program in 2 years. Someone asked if I could clarify the requirements for the graduate certificate. Absolutely. And my apologies. They are the same as the master's degree. So all of our graduate criteria are the same. You must have working experience of a year or more. You must be currently employed in a full-time working position. You must have a conferred bachelor's degree we're looking at about a 2.8 or higher. What I want to mention though is that the master's degree admissions process is much bigger. There's an essay, a video, a recommendation required. The graduate certificate program doesn't have those added things to the application. So sometimes my students will say, you know what, I want to start in a graduate certificate, kind of, it's a little bit more low key, see how it is, see how it goes, and then transfer into the master's degree program if and when I'm ready. Okay, great. I got a few more questions. I know you talked about using TA for course funding, but is it also eligible for the GI Bill? So I think you're talking about military TA, if I'm not mistaken. If I am mistaken, please feel free to, keep putting it in the chat. But unfortunately, we don't work with a ton of military TA. It doesn't afford the student a lot of funding, and so it's pretty daunting to work with. So we don't do a ton of it. GI Bill, however, is separate, and we do work with all type of GI Bill. So whether it's post 9/11, Montgomery, there's a couple different chapters that we work with. Hopefully that answers your question, but the military TA piece isn't a great benefit. We will, though, combine funding sources. So if you have company tuition assistance plus GI Bill, we can work with both types of funding sources. Someone just wrote, is the GSP like the GSE? Where once you obtain the GSP, you don't have to maintain the practitioner certification fees. The GSP, I am not at the moment as familiar. I'm very familiar with the GSE. And I do know that once you go through our master's degree program, it is getting you in a position where you are poised and ready to study and then take the GSE. Once you pass the GSE, much like you mentioned, then all of those GX certification you earned are under one umbrella, and they only need one renewal every 5 years. The GSP, we can talk about that offline, and I can take a look at that and see if they relate. I don't want to say for sure. Okay. Someone asked if we accept international BS Comp Sci degrees for the grad cert program. Absolutely. It's a great question, actually. You can have a degree earned internationally, no problem. And even if it doesn't read similar to a US degree, all we ask is that you get these degrees evaluated by an international evaluation company. So if you look on our website, you'll see we have a special section for international students. We ask them to go through either WES, WES, or IEE. Those are great programs that will take your academic transcripts from abroad and put them into US academic terms and standards. It will give us the equivalency that was earned in your country. So absolutely. And we will take any degree. If you have a bachelor's degree in theory music, as long as you earned that bachelor's degree at an accredited institution, and now you've become a cyber expert over the last couple of years, great. We don't mind if your degree is not in cybersecurity. We just need to know that you have earned a bachelor's degree. And after that, we'll look at your experience, we'll look at what you've been doing, and we'll look at your competencies from there. Okay, let's see. Let's see if any more are coming. Okay. I think that's oh wait, I have another one. Okay, great. What factors have higher impact in getting accepted into one of our scholarship programs like the SANS Diversity Academy? Okay, this is a great question. For those of you not familiar, SANS.org has academies. These academies are scholarship based and they're fantastic for people newer to the field. So that's the first thing I want to mention. I believe now, I am not an expert on the academies because they are a different section of SANS, but my understanding is that these academies are looking for people who are newer to the field. So that's the first thing. I don't think you can be an experienced cyber expert and get accepted into the academies. And then what they're looking for after that are really great applications. They're going to have you take an aptitude assessment. They're not expecting you to understand the field yet, but they want you to show and demonstrate an aptitude for this field to make you a great candidate. They'll also look at your resume. They'll look at your grades and transcripts that you've submitted. They'll look at the answers to the questions that they ask. And then they pick the best candidates from there. So it's a pretty competitive process, but you will get a very holistic overview of your application. And, best of luck in getting accepted, because if you do, pretty exciting. Someone said they're working for a role within trust and safety and wondering what criteria needs to be met to be considered a security-related employment. This is a great question. I will tell you that a lot of times I tell my students, how do you feel about it? And what I mean by that is it's hard to know someone's role within a company unless you're really doing it. So titles don't always explain what the role means. What I say to my students who are cyber adjacent, or maybe they're very deep in technology, but really don't have any kind of security technology experience, I ask them to read the website, take a look at the class descriptions. Does this ring a bell to you? Does it make sense? When you look at every course that you'll look at on our website has a blurb, an explanation of what the course looks like, what it entails, what's expected. If you read through that and think, okay, this makes sense. I understand what they're talking about. I've seen that. I've got that. I'm familiar. That's a good sign. You might have more cyber-related technical experience than you think. If, on the other hand, you look at those same explanations and you're thinking, I don't know what they're talking about. None of this is familiar. I don't know any of these technologies, even as a sort of point of reference for something else, then it might be a little over your head. So this is a situation where I say, let's look at your resume together. Let's discuss kind of what you're looking for as a next step, and then work together to see the right fit. Many times my students will say to me, you know what, you're right. Although I'm familiar, I need that foundational coursework to do well. And they'll start in the ACS program. That ACS program is a gradual build to the master's degree. The undergraduate certificate program is 12 credits, and 9 of those 12 credits are graduate level credits that you will find in our master's degree program. And if you go from ACS to master's, 9 of those credits transfer directly into the program. So sometimes when students need to start at a little bit of a lower, more foundation building coursework, they're still moving forward towards that degree. I hope that helps. Someone asked, do you have fieldwork experience to apply? Do you have to have fieldwork experience to apply for one of the certificates? So again, hopefully that goes hand in hand with what I just answered, but we do like to see that 1 year of experience. We pretty much hold students to it. And the reason being, even though the coursework relates at the undergraduate level to the graduate level, and they really do. Again, I just mentioned 9 out of 12 credits transfer directly to graduate level coursework. But there's a different level of expectation when you come into an undergraduate cert program. The instructors kind of know that you're newer to the field. You're starting at a certain place that's not expecting you to know a lot right off the bat. when you come into the graduate program, they're expecting you to start kind of at a higher level, like up here, because they're assuming an automatic level of knowledge. So the way that they instruct might be a bit different, might go a bit faster. The expectations are a little bit more. And that's a lot of what makes those similar courses, even if you're taking the GSEC at the undergraduate level, it might run a little bit different than the GSEC at the graduate level. Again, based on what the instructor is believing your foundation to be coming into the program. These are great questions. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to throw into the chat? While you're thinking, I'm going to answer one question that no one posed yet that I get all the time. A lot of people will say to me, what if I don't have a 2.8 GPA? I like to make this a point to talk about because it really is a very holistic process in admissions. We're looking for a 2.8 to kind of set the bar. However, if you graduated a bachelor's degree program 15 years ago in a major that wasn't really interesting to you, and since then you've built a career, you've built experience, you have maybe even a higher degree than when you were an undergraduate, we will look at the whole picture. So I have had students that have a very low GPA or lower than a 2.8, and they're still getting admitted because what they've done since that low GPA has been, really industry specific and very kind of high level. So just keep that in mind. I would never want anyone to be discouraged because they don't fit exactly into the pinhole criteria that we put out there. We need to give it a general, reference for people to understand, but we do look at every application as an individual and every application holistically. All right. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys get back to your day, but I just wanted to put the application deadlines back up on the screen. For the master's degree, they are quarterly: February, May, August, November. The graduate and undergraduate certificate programs, as well as our bachelor's degree program, is monthly, rolling admission on the 15th of every month. For both of these application deadlines, you receive a decision 30 days later, and then you can start the program either 30 days or 15 days after you've been accepted. And lastly, I will put my contact information up on the screen again. My name is Kim Kafka. My email is up here, kkafka@sans.edu. You can also contact us at info@sans.edu. We all look at this email box every day and try to answer your questions within 24 hours. So thank you everyone for joining us. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. We'd love to hear from you and answer any questions that you might have. And then, we're happy to help at any time. So thank you again. Have a great day.